What's up, everyone? In this video, we're going to be talking about the AMC APE stock split event. We're also going to be talking about what's going on with Zoom earnings because that stock is all over the place in after hours. And you know we definitely are going to be talking about the market overall as a bunch of stocks sold off today. But this is not a bad thing, and we'll talk about this in just a couple minutes. But we're going to talk about everything important that you need to know for the rest of the week. So, Tom, let's get right into it.
Yeah, Mike, it's a pretty big deal here today with AMC and APE actually kind of, I guess, doing it's almost like a 2-for-1 stock split. That's not exactly what it is, but they're paying a dividend in the form of these APE shares. You can see APE is actually the ticker here that we're looking at. And early in the morning, it was actually halting quite a bit when it first came out, started gapping up, hit highs of around $10. It looks like right around $10.47. Then we had the lows of today around the end of day, right around like $5.19 or $5.20. So seems pretty volatile, obviously, right now. And what they're pretty much saying is that if you were holding AMC, just pretty much add your AMC shares and your APE shares together to get your true value of AMC. Apparently, even the CEO of AMC was tweeting about this, saying to remember, obviously, that it was obviously almost like a stock split and that you're getting those extra shares. So some people were a little bit freaked out this morning, but keep in mind you have to add those shares together. And then obviously it'll kind of at least be close to the old price of AMC. It might not quite totally line up, but overall, at least it's good to know. And I'm glad he tried to remind people about it.
Exactly. So it's a very confusing situation. The main thing to know is add AMC and APE together, and that's basically your price for AMC. So keep that in mind. But yeah, Tom, looking at the market overall today, we saw a ton of selling pressure. The SPY was down over 2% today. And, a lot of stocks tanked down. But if we're being realistic, this is not the end of the world because the market was pretty overbought last week. I am not surprised at all to see the stock market coming down like this. And we've been saying it's overbought multiple times in last week's videos. And when you have these powerhouse market moving stocks like Apple up 35% in the past 2 months, that is not normal. Apple should not be moving like that given what we have in the market. So it's like a lot of other stocks share this same setup. So honestly, I'm not really too fazed by the market pulling back. I actually see it as a good thing that the market is normalizing at least a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to see it pulling back. I will say, Mike, I would take a slower pullback over a pullback like this, but hey, at least it's happening sooner rather than later. I will say it's going to create some pretty good opportunities, Mike. Some of my favorite stocks that I've been eyeing up for the longer term are like Nvidia, AMD, Apple, of course, if it dips enough. We did see Netflix actually dip a lot today as well, down over 6% there at the close. And that was another stock that's been ripping up over the past couple months that is now pulling back. So yeah, be ready, guys. It looks like we're seeing another short-term downtrend, like Mike said, not overly surprising. I will say, Mike, the China stocks did pretty well today, especially early on. They kind of surprised me. They did slow down a little bit at the end of the day, but these are really the only stocks up in the green today. Other than that, everything on my watch list was pretty much in the red, especially the growth stocks, like I mentioned. Even poor DraftKings today was down another 5%, but like we did talk about, even DraftKings was up over 100% from its recent low over the past couple months.
Very true. Yeah, definitely a good point there. Even like one of our favorite growth stocks was pretty overbought. I'll say that. But speaking of some of these growth companies, I know a lot of people have been watching Zoom lately. They just reported earnings. When they first reported it, they dropped all the way down to $87 per share. They actually went green for a couple minutes, but they just sank right back down. So what's happening?
Yeah, it's tough, Mike. And it seems like the main thing really driving them down right now is going to be, unfortunately, their outlook here. So overall, their revenue right now is obviously pretty good. It's up 8% year over year, which is okay. But whenever you go look into this a little bit further, Mike, you go look down here at the bottom at the financial outlook. And this is honestly where you see some, obviously some drops. So they're pretty much, you can see right here, total revenue is expected to be between 1.095 billion and $1.1 billion. And GAAP income from operations is expected to be between 325 and 330 billion. If we go to the Discord here, you can see on Walter Bloomberg, they actually kind of posted all these numbers out here. So you can see how that they're seeing the revenues come down a little bit from their expectations, which is obviously not good, Mike. Now, while they did have some good year over year positives, it's still, though, not good, obviously, to see these expectations starting to go down, especially for these outlooks. And obviously, Mike, we're in kind of a tough market right now. So I'm not too surprised to see an outlook that's kind of, a little bit gloomy, at least in the shorter term.
Yeah, so Zoom basically is warning everyone right now that they are not going to do as well as everyone was expecting them to do for Q3 of this year and for the full year of 2023. These expectations can always change, but at the current moment, Zoom is expecting a slowdown. Part of this was attributed to the strengthening of the US dollar, which definitely hurts their business overseas. So we'll see what happens, but that's the main thing to know. Zoom is a company that I like for the long term. It fell a ton from its highs during COVID, but I believe it's at a good level right now. I will hold it for many years in the future, but yeah, in the short term, it definitely looks a little bit gloomy. In 2020, during COVID, they had highs of $588 per share. Right now, it's trading for around $90 per share. Their valuations have compressed a good amount, but that's not a bad thing, especially if you're looking to open a position. Zoom is not for everyone, but for me, it's definitely worth the risk over the long term.
Yeah, in the longer term, I feel like it'll be pretty good too. It's not my favorite stock out there, I will say, Mike. I'd rather obviously see things maybe like Nvidia or, some of these more of like groundbreaking stocks, obviously, do a little bit better. But I hope that Zoom definitely starts to come up as well. It is one of those growth stocks. And, I've traded it a lot over the past couple of years too. So, yeah, I hope that it holds some of these big supports. You can see the blue line is kind of showing where we're at here in after hours. We're not all the way down to that recent low yet, which was honestly all the way down around $79 or $80. And after hours, we're holding up around 90 right now. So, hey, at least we're not all the way at 80, Mike. That would definitely be pretty bad. So hopefully that $80 support holds up for us.
Yeah, we will see. So, Tom, people are looking at the stock market right now, and they are wondering what the main things to watch for the rest of the week are. So, I know we have a couple earnings, but tell us more about the big event at the end of the week.
Yeah, the Jackson Hole, of course, is going to come out Friday. I feel like Powell's just kind of like mocking us. Every time he speaks, he just comes out and just keeps reiterating the same stuff that the Fed is going to pretty much keep going towards their target inflation level of 2%. And they're going to keep raising rates or obviously hold the rate steady until that obviously that 2% inflation rate starts getting a little bit closer to reality. But for right now, obviously Powell is he is speaking Friday, Mike, 10 a.m. Eastern time at this Jackson Hole Summit. People are expecting actually some pretty bearish statements from him. Obviously, a lot of people are expecting different things. It says right here, investors await what could be a hawkish message. I've seen a lot of analysts live on CNBC and other places like that today kind of say that they expected dovish stuff. Like I said before, this is a pretty conflicted event. People are going to think all types of things, but in the end, they'll probably just keep reiterating, like I said, that 2% inflation goal. So just keep that in the back of your minds. It could move the markets. And you know what? The market's going on a bad downtrend, Mike. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if he could possibly make it drop down a little bit more in the shorter term, possibly towards some of these bigger supports with the SPY around 410, maybe even 404.
Gotcha. All right, so 10 a.m. Eastern time on Friday is the time to watch. Powell will be speaking, like Tom just said. But before that, Tom, what does the earnings schedule look like for the rest of the week?
This is actually pretty cool. So tomorrow we're going to have Macy's and XPEV before market open, along with JD and DKS. I like both of those stocks too. I think DKS is pretty interesting as a retailer. They're kind of like Apple, Mike. If we look at DKS here on the daily chart, they've been seriously ripping back to the upside, and they're almost back up towards those highs again. So we'll have to see if maybe they start falling back off with their earnings. But then we have Nvidia on Wednesday, along with Salesforce or CRM, Snowflake, and then SPLK or Splunk even that day. Victoria's Secret's even mixed in there. That's going to be a hot one on Wednesday. So definitely be on the lookout for these. I think they'll be pretty interesting. My favorites, Nvidia, of course, but I know a lot of people have been looking at Salesforce and Snowflake over the past couple of years too.
Yeah, Wednesday's going to be huge right after close. Nvidia, basically everyone will be watching, so keep it on your radar for Wednesday. But Tom, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have BLNK to the downside.
Yeah, Blink and all these growth stocks really took a tumble today. Go ahead and make them break below $20.90.
Boom. With the next one, we have Netflix also to the downside.
Yeah, this one was a big stock. They're obviously one of the bigger stocks in the market, down 6%. Make them break below 224.50 tomorrow.
Sounds good. And with the last one, we have PDD to the upside.
EDD, nice China stock. Hopefully they can keep up with this good momentum they've had. Of course, they go up on a day when the SPY drops so much. Make them actually break out above 49.50. That's a pretty good resistance up there.
All right, we're watching PDD for a potential day trade to the upside tomorrow, only if it breaks above the level Tom listed. And we are watching Netflix and BLNK for potential day trades to the downside tomorrow, only if they break below the levels Tom listed. But if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Tom and I post brand new videos every single day, and let us know what stocks you are watching in the comments down below. But Tom, overall, looking at the market, stocks I would still say are kind of overbought. Does this mean they're going to crash down by, does this mean we're going to see the SPY crash down by 10%? I don't think so. I really don't. But I would not be surprised if we saw the SPY get closer to like 405 or so over the next couple weeks. But it heavily depends on what Powell says on Friday. He has a ton of influence over the markets, and it all depends on what he says. So keep that on your radar.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge event. I hope the market doesn't sell off too much heading into this, Mike. If we keep going down at the pace we did today, it's going to be a brutal week. So hopefully it can start to slow down a little bit, at least heading into Friday, which I think it will. Today was pretty parabolic. It was almost like we went straight down. I will say we had some pretty good day trades in the Discord. The SPY ended up falling right out of a pretty good range today. There was a pretty big support intraday around 415, started kind of blasting below that. Then we had that big move down in the middle of the day. So yeah, just a brutal day in the market. Obviously, a lot of growth stocks like Apple and other stocks like that sold off. What's also interesting, Mike, is I've been looking at a pretty big channel here on Apple over the past few months, and actually just gapped down right below that channel today. So pretty brutal to see that. I wouldn't be surprised if we went on a downtrend, especially breaking that and with everything just going on in general.
All right, good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below to join the StockedUp Discord chat. It is completely free. You get access to free day trades every single morning before open from Tom and me. You also get access to a news channel that's awesome with a bunch of updates, basically 24/7, and it's quicker than most other news sources. That's awesome. And then on top of all of that, you can network and trade with some awesome people and traders in the discussion channel. Like I said, it's completely free. It's going to be that first link in the description and the comments down below. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's end the week strong.